In Luke 6, there are teachings that we should carry throughout our journey. By watching this video, we'll see what we can learn from Jesus and all his love. Before we continue, I'd like to ask you to leave your like and subscribe to our channel so that this content reaches more people. I've picked out a few verses today, and the first one is verse 9 where Jesus asks, "I ask you, what does our law say about the Sabbath? What is allowed on this day, doing good or doing harm? Saving someone from death or letting them die?" He was saying this because of the criticisms that were on the minds of the teachers of the law and the Pharisees who were watching Jesus closely to see if he would heal someone on the Sabbath. And there was a man there with a withered hand, whom Jesus called near, and he healed this man. What Jesus shows us here is that there is no day, no hour, no place to act as good people. We need to dedicate our lives to being kind-hearted individuals. Further on, Jesus speaks about love, and this task isn't easy if it depends solely on our will and intention. Here, we need a connection with the Holy Spirit, we need his fruits in our lives, for Jesus says we must love everyone. We're talking about verses 27 to 36, where Jesus says, "Love your enemies and do good to those who hate you." This is powerful and demands an effort from our being. It's easier to love those who love us, but Jesus asks us to love our enemies as well. And in verse 31, we observe these words, "Do to others as you would have them do to you." If we only follow this direction, we'll already enjoy a life of peace, for I'm sure that by living this way, we'll have fewer enemies and many more friends. And even if not everyone becomes our friend, they will surely respect us. So, just this teaching of Jesus would be enough for our entire life, but there is a continuation in this chapter that I bring to you to reflect upon with me. In verse 36, Jesus says, "Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful." How intense! Notice that we need to be merciful just as God is with us. And what is the extent of the Lord's mercy? In Lamentations chapter 3, verses 22 and 23 tell us, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases, his mercies never come to an end, they are new every morning." So every time anger and hatred come upon us towards someone, we should remember this guidance. Remember how many times we've made mistakes as well, but even so, God in his infinite goodness had mercy on us, forgave us, and loved us, even though we didn't deserve such grace and care. And in verses 37 and 38, Jesus says, "Do not judge others, and God will not judge you. Do not condemn others, and God will not condemn you. Forgive others, and God will forgive you. Give to others, and God will give to you. He will be generous, and the blessings he will give you will be so many that you won't be able to hold them in your hands. The same measure you use to measure others, God will use to measure you." What should we do in light of this? Observe our attitudes towards others, analyze our hearts, seek the guidance of the Holy Spirit to help us become better people, with a kind, generous, and just heart, who have compassion for others, who don't easily get angry, but forgive easily, who do not judge, and who are generous. Jesus speaks in verse 40 that no student is more important than their teacher. However, when the studies are finished, the student will become like their teacher. Who has been our teacher? Our Master. Who has been directing and guiding us? Our teacher should be Jesus, for after learning everything he teaches us, we will become like him, and he was the kindest and most loving person to ever walk this earth. And if we can develop this character in ourselves, then we will be like in verse 45 where Jesus says, "A good person brings good things out of the good stored up in their heart." And here I open a parenthesis to continue the verse and say, otherwise, if we do not develop this character, then we will continue reading, "But an evil person brings evil things out of the evil stored up in their heart." For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. Our duty is to heed the teachings of Jesus. He needs to be our reference, our master, our teacher, and then nothing will bring us down, not wind, not storm, not problems, fears, anxieties, insecurities, bad feelings, none of it will have the power to paralyze or bring us down, for we have learned from the Master, from the best, and we are walking day by day to be more like Him. I sincerely hope that this message brings the light you need on your path and directs your steps closer to Jesus. God bless.